Can you introduce yourself and tell us what you have done?
Yes, absolutely. Hi, my name's Joe Whyte, and I played Chris Redfield in Resident Evil Biohazard, the remake from 2002.
How are you doing here at the Weekend Blender?
Fantastic. This has been a great event. We've met so many really cool people, had a great time. We will be back in August. We'll be at the fairgrounds in August. I think it's the 17th and 18th. So if any of you would like to come down and meet us, come out to that event, and we'll be more than happy to say hi. Gosh, yeah, this has been a lot of fun. So much stuff to see here.
Besides video games, have you done anything in anime or cartoon?
Yes. So I was also Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob SquarePants video games, not the TV show, but the video games. I've also been in a bunch of Disney movies. If you've seen The Emperor's New Groove, I did 8 different characters in that. I did the guard that says, "I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's Groove." And I'm also the guy that says, "I've been turned into a cow. Can I go home?" And several other films. If you look up my IMDb page, you can see all the stuff that I've been in. A few other video games, The Lord of the Rings. I got to play Gimli the dwarf in a Lord of the Rings game. That was a lot of fun. It's always fun to play an angry Scottish dwarf. So
As a voice actor in video games and cartoons,
yes.
Which is more difficult for you, or do they have their own difficulties and challenges?
Well, the thing that's difficult about video games in particular is that you have to do something called impact hits. So you'll have to do, like, for a video game character will get shot, or they'll fall down or get punched or attacked by a monster, and you have to do all of those sounds. You have to do, for instance, in Resident Evil, there's a couple of scenes where Chris Redfield gets thrown around a room by a big plant. There's this plant called Plant 42, and it picks up Chris and it throws him from side to side. So I had to watch the video of that happening and go, and you have to do all that stuff for video games. Sometimes you don't have to do that when you're doing a cartoon, because sometimes you do, but most of the time you don't. So that's pretty challenging.
When you're voicing a character, do you follow the direction from the director, or do you put your own acting skills into the character?
Well, that's an interesting question, because basically what you do, the standard sort of operating procedure in a booth when you're doing a voiceover is you have the lines in front of you on a piece of paper. The director will say, okay, here's what's going on, and here's kind of where we want you to go with the character. So you'll do 3 takes. So you'll do that. So let's say the line is, "Hey, give me back my sandwich." So you'll do it like this. "Hey, give me back my sandwich." "Hey, give me back my sandwich." "Hey, give me back my sandwich." You do 3 different takes of that line in kind of slightly different ways. And then the director will say, "I liked number 2. Can you give me 3 more like that one?" So then you'll do 3 more variations of the way that you did it that time. And then they'll say, "I liked 3. Take 3 on that one. Let's go with that. Moving on." Then they'll move on to the next line. So that's kind of how that works. And then you could, sometimes the director will say, "Hey, we like what we've got. Go ahead and improvise. Do one the way that you want to do it." Sometimes they'll do that, sometimes not. And then you can you can bring whatever you feel the line should be to the line. Try and change things up. Sometimes you do something differently and they like the way that you did it, and they'll keep that one.
Anything to tell people who want to become voice actors?
Sure, absolutely. The first thing to know about doing voiceover is it's acting. It's not separate from acting. It's acting. So you need to be a good actor. If you're going to go to school for voiceover, there's really no difference between that and just becoming a good actor. So you need to study, you need to practice, and one thing that's really good if you want to focus on voiceover is to give yourself a range. The thing that's cool about doing voiceover is that you will get to play a lot of different types of characters. You'll do everything from an angry Scottish dwarf to Mr. Krabs, or to a guard in a castle. So you want to have a very versatile voice. What I do, I'm able to do very low voices or very high voices, and I do vocal warm-ups. So I think of my voice as being my instrument, and I do scales. I sing scales, or I just will go through and read, get a book of Shakespeare and cold read Shakespeare, because it's hard to do that. It's a different, it's an old style of English, and it's kind of a tongue twister a lot of the times. But you want to challenge yourself. You want to give your stuff that's hard to read, and that's kind of like doing your exercises, doing your push-ups, if you will, for being a voice actor. And that's really important stuff. You have to think about all that. It's not just popping into a booth and saying the lines. You really need to focus on doing the work of being an actor first.
Have you done anything recently that you can tell us about and update us on without getting in trouble?
The last thing that I did was a movie that's coming out this summer. It's called Harold and the Purple Crayon. And I did what's called ADR. ADR stands for Automatic Dialogue Replacement. And that's where you go into a booth, and there's a movie that's already been shot, and that for whatever reason they don't like the sound, the voice from an actor that's on screen, so they'll replace that with another actor. That's called ADR. And so I did ADR for that. There's an old man in the park who's kind of attacked by these kids. And it's a crazy, kind of funny movie. And I went in and revoiced the old man character. So if you see Harold in the Purple Crayon this summer, you'll see that's my voice as the old man in the park.
If people want to get more info and updates on you, where can they go?
They can go to my Instagram, and that's Joe Whyte Comedy. So at Joe Whyte Comedy, JoeWhyte Comedy. That's me.
Thank you very much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.